conclude today by presenting the Alex Thomas Ohio School Psychologist of the Year Award. In 1991, the OSPA Executive Board established the School Psychologist of the Year Award. The purpose is to recognize one school psychologist each year who provides outstanding service delivery within the practitioner realm. It is required that at least 75% of a candidate's time be spent providing school psychological services to students, teachers, and parents, typically in a school setting. Nominees must be OSPA members and are nominated by their regional association. Just months ago, the OSPA Executive Board renamed this award to be the Alex Thomas Ohio School Psychologist of the Year Award to recognize his singular contributions to school psychologist practitioners both in Ohio and across the nation. This year's recipient is Mrs. Kelly Kreitz of the Akron Public Schools. Kelly has served in the Akron Public Schools as a practicing school psychologist for the past 14 years. She has served on OSPA's Autism Task Force since its inception. She has served on OSPA's Executive Board, first as a Kent-Akron Regional Representative, and for the past 4 years as the Nominations and Elections Co-Chair. The primary reason underlying Kelly receiving this recognition today is her leadership and support for her entire child study department in the Akron Public Schools and their efforts in MTSS as it relates to the literacy of our youngest and most vulnerable learners. She has coordinated training sessions for countless stakeholders in this process, first and foremost for our staff of 31 full-time school psychologists who serve more than 50 buildings and programs. At a time when educators across the state are being challenged by a post-pandemic environment, a dyslexia mandate, and much more, Kelly has been called upon to serve our core leadership team in Akron, responsible for screening, progress monitoring, and intervention with our students. On a staff of highly skilled and accomplished school psychologists, Kelly is the straw that stirs our MTSS drink. In her spare time, Kelly is our co-lead for the ADOS team. She just conducted 4 ADOS assessments last week alone. She oversees our equitable allocation of school psychologist service schedules, coordinates our early entrance to kindergarten screenings, supervises interns, and serves as my executive functioning in just about everything. As her longtime speech-language pathologist, Mrs. Mina Riazzi, colleague, noted, Kelly is always willing to lend a hand with a student that is having a rough day, a parent that needs a little extra time, or passing out bags of food to families before a long weekend. Working alongside Kelly all these years has taught me unmatched lessons of professionalism, strength, consistency, and compassion. One of her principals, Ms. Renee Hotchkiss, Coaches. How do I say it? Hotchkiss, okay, thank you. Kelly is a very special talent for communicating with people in ways that make them feel respected. She speaks with a genuineness that is both heard and felt. She graciously leads all of us to deeper thinking and conversations in important ways. As her other principal, Gina Llewellyn, notes, Kelly collaborates and brainstorms with our teams when all other strategies have failed. She never gives up on our students or our staff. As Kelly herself noted previously, in Akron Public, our school psychologists have remained steadfast in our commitment to this MTSS model. We allow our data to lead our decision-making. Whether our resources have been abundant or lacking, we have remained leaders in the implementation of MTSS in urban settings. That initiative is shared across many dedicated colleagues on our team, but friends, truly, our school psychologists have led because Kelly has led. When there are questions, problems, and seemingly insurmountable challenges, we all turn to her. As her supervisor, I can't tell you what it means to have her in a department. She is not only my right arm, she's my left arm, and at least half my brain, too. In 2013, Kelly was the first ever recipient of OSPA's Early Career Award. She's also received the F. Peter Gross Best Practices Award. With today's recognition, Kelly stands alone. She is the only school psychologist in the history of our association to receive all 3 of these awards. When I think about this award being renamed in honor of Dr. Alex Thomas, I am mindful of 2 key attributes that Kelly shares with Alex. First, like Alex, she is tirelessly committed to doing whatever it takes to help children, full stop. Second, like Alex, she's also one of the most competent and intelligent school psychologists you could ever hope to meet, but she is profoundly humble. It doubtlessly mortifies Kelly right now that I'm comparing her to Alex Thomas, but Kelly, you are exactly the kind of school psychologist Alex himself would want to honor today. Someone who never seeks to draw attention to herself, but exemplifies servant leadership to do your best, to do right, and do good, even and especially when no one's watching. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for being you. It is for all of these reasons and so many more that the OSPA Executive Board is proud to recognize Mrs. Kelly Kreitz with the 2023 Alex Thomas Ohio School Psychologist of the Year. Congratulations, Kelly.
Okay, so that was a lot. A lot of what I wasn't expecting, but thank you so much. I am incredibly honored. I'm humbled to be the recipient of the Ohio School Psychologist of the Year Award. It's made even more special by the fact that it bears the name of the remarkable Alex Thomas. I did not have the opportunity to know Alex personally, but I can tell you that in my years in this field, I've encountered nothing but praise and admiration for his tireless contributions and the lasting impact he's made on our profession. Thank you, Mrs. Thomas. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to CASP for putting forth my nomination, and to OSPA, their executive board, and their awards committee for graciously accepting my nomination. I am very proud to be a part of OSPA. A very special thank you to my admired colleague, Stephanie Jazwikowski, my amazing principals, Gina Llewellyn and Renee Kachis, and my SLP bestie, Mina Riazi, for being a part of my nomination. I know this has been a lot today, and I'm going to try to keep it very short, but I have a couple of people that I really need to recognize. In 2009, I landed my dream job working in Akron Public Schools as a school psychologist. The only thing more rewarding than that job was the incredible support that I got in the early years of my career. Dr. Perry Clark assumed the role of the coordinator of school psychologists the year I was hired, and his right-hand woman was Susan Kruger. Susan was Perry's executive functioning, and she was my intern supervisor and my ongoing mentor. Perry and Susan took on the role of my work parents. They let me stretch my wings and test my limits, but they also protected me at all times. They kept me from burning bridges, and they brought me down a notch when I needed it. Their collective influence on my professional growth remains unparalleled, and to this day, they remain two of the very best humans I know. I want to thank my mom work tribe. That's Heather Betham, Nicole Wertzberger, and Stephanie Jazwikowski. I love you ladies. These wonderful, amazing, strong women have helped me navigate the maze of motherhood. I find myself asking in so many instances, okay, Kel, what would Stephanie do? Because I've watched Stephanie fearlessly prioritize her family, set appropriate boundaries at work, and still manage to meet every single deadline and work commitment. I know I'm always safe if I'm following Stephanie's lead. I also want to thank a couple special people who pulled me out of the test in place trap. Do you guys know what that is? If you don't, you are very lucky, but I think most of you do. It's a trap that you fall into where you start to think the only thing I'm good at is testing kids. Test in place, test in place. And you start to feel resentment about the fact that you have all these other amazing skills and no opportunity to use them. It's a really easy trap to fall into, and it's pretty hard to get out of, and I was lucky enough to get pulled out by some amazing people. Several years back, we had a group of exceptionally strong interns come through APS. One of those interns, you may have heard of her, her name's Jenna Heedy. She's our current OSPA president. Jenna entered the scene with this fierce confidence and this dominating motivation for change and this desire to tackle every challenge head on. Regrettably, I was pretty resistant to Jenna at first. I thought, who does this girl think she is? Until someone said to me, oh, Kelly, that Jenna, she is exactly like you were when you first started. So that gave me a little bit of perspective, and I decided that we'd be much stronger joining forces than we'd ever be keeping them apart. She was just the spark I needed. Coincidentally, around the same time Jenna joined our team, a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Robert Kubik, assumed the role of the Related Services Coordinator and took over the role of direct supervision of the school psychologist. If you know Rob, you know he possesses this uncanny ability to instill professional confidence in people. Rob started involving me in district-level meetings about elementary MTSS, which he knew I had a strong interest in. He gave me multiple opportunities to be a leader in our department, and he helped bring back my desire to prove that I could do more than write a good report. I want to thank you both, Jenna and Rob, because you are my people. You helped pull me out of that trap, and you helped me bring me back to a place of fulfillment in my career. You are both a huge part of the reason I'm standing here today. So thank you, and thank you. And I love they're both up here with me. I couldn't have imagined. To wrap up, I just want to take a moment to thank my family who's here today, to my sons, Dexter and Weston. He's waving. They keep me current, they keep me like a little bit cool. I can't tell you though how many times my knowledge of Roblox and Fortnite and Minecraft has really helped me de-escalate situations at work. So thank you. Thank you to my husband, Steve, who hates that I'm saying his name right now, for being the epitome of a true partner in life. He is our rock, and I wish every family could know his steadiness and his strength. To my sister-in-law, Mandy, that friendly little teacher I met back on my internship, who's played many, many roles in my professional life, but always the role of family in my personal life. To my mother-in-law, Kim, who couldn't be here today, she's back home holding down the family business so my husband could be here, for being so generous and always being willing to help with the boys whenever we need her. And finally, to my parents, who are the ones that have been with me through all of it. Thank you to my mom, Pat Kowalski, who taught me love, patience, and most importantly, compassion. I remember being in 3rd grade and coming home complaining to my mom that her teacher had yelled at us so much today. Mom, we didn't even do anything. She was in such a bad mood. And my mom's response was, well, Kelly, teachers are people too. Maybe she just had a bad day. Teachers have bad days too, just like you. Little did she know that phrase would live on repeat in my head. Teachers have bad days too, throughout the entirety of my career. And thank you to my dad, Joe Kowalski, who taught me to work hard, not to give up, and that it's perfectly okay to have a really strong opinion. My dad gave me and my siblings a lot of lectures growing up, but our very favorite one that we heard the most, we dubbed the winner's speech. It was where Dad would remind us that winners associate with winners. And if you want to be successful in life, you've got to surround yourself with other successful people. If you want to be a winner, then the people around you have to be winners too. And my dad was absolutely right. I am so proud to be a school psychologist. I'm beyond grateful to be surrounded by all of the amazing school psychologists in Ohio because you are all winners. Thank you.